Hello, good day. Welcome to my channel. My name is Pastor Gesh. I'm so delighted to have you join us today for this session. Please, before we go into the teaching proper right now, I'll please request of you to please subscribe to this channel. If you have not done so, please do so. We need you to subscribe so that you'll be able to get notification when greater content is available on this channel. The other time I started the topic with you, building healthy courtship. And I did inform you that courtship has certain protocols. They have certain rules. They have certain principles that must be obeyed, that must be complied with for the relationship to be able to move into marriage. And I did also tell you that it's not all relationship that ends in marriage. Some fall by the wayside. Now, they fall by the wayside not necessarily because God did not permit it to be, but sometimes it is the partners involved that allowed such to happen because of their negligence on certain things that they needed to consider. Just like the scripture says, Amos chapter 3 verse 3, it says, can two walk together except they agree? There is the factor of agreement before a relationship can be strong and can be healthy. Once issues of disagreement continue to happen in a relationship, then there is a likelihood that such a relationship will not lead to marriage because of continuous and consistent disagreement. Therefore, if you need to agree, there are things you need to consider. There are things that will fuel your agreement. There are things that will motivate both of you into agreement. Now, before I go further, this agreement that I'm talking about has to be the two sides. It is not just from the man alone. It is not just from the lady alone. Both of them must be in agreement on major issues of their life, because the two different lives are coming together to become one. Therefore, if the two are coming together to become one, they should have same focus. Now, this doesn't mean that they should not think differently, but in their thinking differently, they must come to the point of unity of focus. They must come to the point of unity in decision. They must come to the point of agreement in whatsoever they intend to do. When a relationship has two different visions, two different focuses, they end up experiencing crisis in such a relationship, because the relationship ought to have a singular focus. It ought to have a singular voice. Both voices are coming together to be one. So for your courtship or for your relationship to move to marriage, there are certain things that you must do. You don't wait till marriage before you begin to do them. You begin to practice these fundamentals before your marriage. If you wait for marriage to begin to practice these fundamentals, you might not enjoy the experience, because it is in your courtship, in your relationship, you tell yourself if you are ready for this task. It is in your relationship and in your courtship that you tell yourself the truth. Do I really like this man enough to get married to him? Do I really love this lady enough to decide that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with her? You make those decisions based on fundamental things you have seen. So if you have to wait to marriage to make that decision, you are making that decision very late. You need to make that decision as early as possible so that your marriage can be full of honey. Now, I did tell you that relationship is a focused friendship whose goal, whose destination is marriage. Now, what are those fundamentals that must be observed? What are those protocols that must be followed for your courtship or your relationship to move or graduate or metamorphose into marriage? The first thing I would tell you is the factor or the protocol of adjustment. There must be adjustment, making little changes where necessary. It is these little changes that will help both of you to be able to live together. You need to make adjustment so that she can find you suitable to live with. You need to make these adjustments so that he can find you suitable to live with. Because you'll be living with yourself for the rest of your life. Therefore, if you are going to live with yourself for the rest of your life, there must be principles that must be followed. There must be agreement. There must be unity. There must be cohesion. There must be unity, agreement in yourselves. You don't wait for marriage for you to come into such agreement. You don't need to wait for marriage for you to make such adjustment. Now is the time to make those necessary adjustments. Now you make these adjustments to improve your relationship, to improve how you interact, to improve how you live with yourselves. Now, if you are in the university, you have roommates, and probably your roommate is always changed every session. So you have a different roommate in your 100 level, in your 200 level, another roommate. But in marriage, there's no change of roommate. You live with yourself, the death do you part. So before that can be convenient, before that can be lovable, before that can be a cherished union, both of you must adjust. Now, what are those things you need to adjust? There are so many, but for time's sake, I would mention a few. Please do other research to understand other things you need to adjust that are peculiar to your own relationship. But number one, let me talk about adjustment of time. Time adjustment is so important because your life is your time. Your time is your life. So if I am coming to spend the rest of my life with you, your time must be precious to you. Your time must not eat up my own time. Your time must be precious to both of us. You need to adjust the usage of your time, because when you don't master the use of your time right now, you end up discovering in marriage that you don't have enough time. Now, you don't have enough time not because the 24 hours has been reduced for you, but you have been used to wasting of time while you were single. So now that you are married, you have a lot of responsibilities, but instead for you to start with those responsibilities, you start with nothing. For instance, the early hours of the day is spent doing nothing. Nothing in the sense that nothing that contributes to your life. You have 10 things to do in a day, and those 10 things need 10 hours. So you wake up in the morning, you freshen up, you take your bath, you took your meal, you did all those things, you listen to the news, you read your newspaper, you just continue to leisure out your time until 12 o'clock. Now 12 o'clock is time for you to take your lunch. You took your lunch. Now you begin to think about the agenda for the day. At the end of the day, you wouldn't have been able to meet up with those 10 items on your agenda, because you wasted time doing things that have no benefit to you. Right now you are single and you are searching. You have no respect for time. You wake up in the morning, you don't think of anything to do, but just sit down, browse through your phone, and that's all you do. The clothes you need to wash, the meal you need to cook, the house chores you need to do, you continue to postpone them until a later day. Your husband might not enjoy you like that. Your wife might not enjoy you like that because you don't have respect for time. Even when you tell yourself you are going out on the date, you both chose 6 p.m. and by 5 p.m. you are not ready. By 6 p.m., that is when you are thinking of going to take your bath. And that 6 p.m. was the time that you should have been at the venue. Now, there's no way you continue like that there won't be a disagreement in your relationship, because your partner wouldn't like that. For instance, he or she already at the venue of your dinner and waiting for you for good 2 hours. Not because you were held in traffic, but you wasted time. So time must be adjusted. You must have respect for time. It is your respect for time that will enhance your relationship in a very great way. The next thing you need to understand also that you need to adjust is your manner and your temperament. The way you behave, the way you respond. For instance, if you are a lousy person, you need to adjust that attribute of yours. You are with your partner. Instead for you to focus on your partner whom you are having a date with on the table in that restaurant, your conversation with him or her is not enough. You have to raise your voice to be communicating with the other person at that table. Just being lousy. You can't have an intimate discussion. You must always raise your voice. For instance, you are eating at the table with your partner and your mouth is making unnecessary sound with the food you are eating. Now, all these things might look small, they might look insignificant, but they mean a lot. Except your partner wants to continue to ignore those things, perhaps ignoring them for marriage. It is better for you to address those issues now and not wait for marriage before you begin to address them. It is important for you to address them right now. Now, some are just naturally introverts. They are the quiet type. You can't be in a relationship and you just continue to be quiet all through. There's nothing to talk about because you are not a talking type. Sir, you need to work on that to become the talking type. Because during your courtship, you must talk, you must communicate. It is based on the fact you bring out of your communication that will enhance your decision, that will solidify your decision to progress into marriage. But if you are not talking, how will you understand yourself? You shouldn't be the yes ma or the yes sir kind of a person. No matter what he says is yes sir. No matter what she says is yes ma. No, you should have a say. You should be able to voice out. You should be able to express your feelings. You should be able to express your opinion on things that matters. So you need to work on yourself. The next thing you will ask me is, Pastor Gesh, how do I work on myself? I will refer you to books that deals with temperament. A very good one that I would recommend for you is Spirit Controlled Temperament. Why you act the way you do. Both are written by Tim LaHaye. Please get those books. It will help you enough to be able to understand your behavior, the merit and the demerit in your behavior, and be able to show you steps into modifying your behavior so that you can be a people person, so that you can be somebody that is lovable, so that you can be somebody that people can interact with, because marriage is all about interaction. So if you are the type that don't talk, you need to work on that. If you are the opposite, it's not that you are quiet, you talk too much. You need to work on that. You need to work on that attribute of yours to be able to have what is called decorum. Talking when you need to talk. Talking about things that are important. Focusing on the topic being discussed and not leaving the topic being discussed into something else. You need to work on this. Another thing you need to work on is your ideology of life. There are some that are brought up in an environment whereby their life ideology is women are to be seen and not heard. So when a man that has such mentality ends up getting married, the wife is going to be seen as a piece of furniture in his house. because he grew up with the ideology that women have nothing to communicate. That is very wrong. You need to change that mentality. Your wife is your partner, therefore she should be able to communicate her opinion. She should be able to advise you. So the ideology of women ought to be seen and not to be heard must be erased out of your mind. I've come to discover that some ladies have this mentality that every man cheats. So when they get into a relationship with a faithful guy, they will continue to relate with that guy with the ideology in their mind. Every man cheats. And that's a lie. For instance, you saying that every bird can fly. That's not always true. Every bird cannot fly. An ostrich cannot fly. So saying that all birds fly, it's wrong. Every bird don't fly. So having the mentality that every man is a cheat is very wrong. It's very wrong. Some have this ideology that the only thing women know is money. Some women can know only money. But that doesn't mean that every woman on the surface of the earth today, the only language they understand is money. No, you don't go into marriage with that. Such men that go into marriage with the mentality that the only thing women knows is money, they begin to treat their wives like prostitutes. Everything is about money. No time to be together, no attention, no dedication, no affection. They believe once there's money, all our needs are solved. No, money doesn't solve all our needs because money cannot buy her your affection. So the things your presence needs, the things your shoulder needs, a shoulder to cry on, money cannot replace it. Therefore, you need to work on your ideology. Some other ideology is some people go into marriage with the mindset that marriage is a necessary evil. Everything that God created, including marriage, He said it is good. So I don't know where you got that mentality from. If you have seen other people's marriage that is evil, that doesn't mean that yours must be evil. Because my Bible tells me that the plan God has for me is good, to give me a hope and a desired future. So if I desire peace in my marriage, that is what is going to be my portion. That is my own ideology. No matter the challenge, no matter the obstacles, no matter the storm, my ideology is marriage is a blessing. So if you go into your own marriage with the mindset that your marriage is a necessary evil, sorry, if you experience evil from the first day of your marriage to the 50th year of your marriage is your portion. Why? Your ideology. God said is going to give you according to your thoughts. What they have imagined to do, I cannot restrain them from doing it. So if you don't want God to restrain you, stop you from evil, stop the evil mentality in your ideology. Marriage is not a necessary evil. Marriage is a blessing. Go into your marriage with that ideology that marriage is a blessing and consistently say it. No matter what you are facing, say what you want to see. When God saw darkness, He did not speak about the darkness. He spoke about what He wanted to see. So no matter what you are seeing right now, speak about what you want to see. This is part of your ideology. Your ideology about marriage. Your ideology about children, your ideology about in-laws, your ideology about where you are going to live, the ideology about the tribe you are going to get married to. All these ideologies must be adjusted before marriage. You don't get into marriage to start adjusting those fundamentals. You rather adjust those fundamentals now, before you get married. Now, before I begin to round up, let me also talk about another thing you need to adjust. You need to adjust the kind of friends you keep, because a lot of times our circle of influence determines the kind of advice we receive. When you are facing certain challenges, one of those people that will first of all come to advise you are your friends. Therefore, if you have the wrong set of friends, they will not help your relationship, they will not help your marriage, because your circle of friends are the wrong set of people. You're having a challenge and you go to meet your friend to ask for advice, and your friend tells you that is how all men are. Now, is that solution to your problem? He or she is just telling you, manage it like that. No, there's no room for management. There's no room for management. There's room for adjustment. He or she needs to adjust. But how will you have the right perspective if all your friends jump from one guy to the other? In 1 year, they would have dated at least 7 guys. Now you are still with one after 2 years, and there is a challenge. You go to meet that friend. What kind of advice do you think that friend will give you? The friend will give you advice to become like she is or he is. Therefore, adjust your friend. I have seen a lot of situations whereby some people lose precious relationship because of the wrong influence of friends. Have the right kind of friends. If not, you will be influenced by wrong ideology. You'll be influenced by wrong advice. Adjust your friends. Pick friends that have good testimonies. Pick friends whose relationship are working. Pick friends that will advise you to do the right thing. Pick friends that will be a plus and not a minus to your relationship. And finally, you need to adjust your dress sense. For instance, you are in a relationship with a guy who doesn't like putting on trousers. You need to tell yourself, is wearing of trousers more important to me than this relationship? If wearing of trousers to you is more important than a relationship, then you can lay off the relationship and hold jealously to your trouser wearing. If it is a big issue, then you need to sit down and discuss it to a conclusion. I can't do without my trouser for so and so reasons. No, I don't like trouser wearing for so and so reasons. You bring your reasons together and reach a conclusion. Will you permit me to continue to wear my trouser, or you won't? You reach a conclusion and not just shifting it. So many people have shifted it into marriage, and when they got into marriage, the man becomes a monster. He begins to give rules and regulations that were not discussed before they got married. Now he begins to enforce rules that shouldn't have been enforced prematurely. So you need to discuss these things. There are some ladies that don't like men that put on jeans. And here you are with a guy that loves jeans. His own is even to the other side. He wears crazy jeans. Discuss it. Will you be proud of him to wear his jean or his crazy jean to go and greet your parents for the first time? These are fundamentals. I have seen situations whereby everything about the guy is good, but the guy came dressed in the wrong way. Now, asking me, is wearing of jeans wrong or right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about perception. I'm talking about acceptation. I might accept it, he might not accept it. So my decision is not what is important here, but the person whom you are in a relationship with, his or her decision is what is important. So when you are with a guy that cannot do without jeans and is coming to meet your parent for the first time, you might end up fighting over the choice of clothes because you have not discussed it before that D-Day. So the guy just appears in your house, putting on crazy jean, putting on his face cap, his dark shade, looking like a bodyguard or looking like a bouncer. And you know the kind of people your parents don't like, but yet the guy has come dressed like it. You are going to have a problem. So before your relationship move higher, please have serious conversation on this issue. Not because you want to fight about them, but you want to reach mutual agreement. Underline that word, mutual agreement. Someone should not force his or her decisions on you, and you too must not force your decision on him or her. Both of you must reach mutual agreement. When the agreement is not mutual, you are just postponing the evil day, because a time will come you will fight over what you ought to have agreed upon. So before you begin to program your fight to the future, please address those things right now. They will help your relationship very much. Wow, my time has gone. I don't know it will stretch to this point, but anyways, I thank you so much for watching from the beginning to this point. God bless you very, very much. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Please, I request of you to please hit on the subscribe button. Please subscribe to this channel so that the continuation of this teaching, the next edition, you'll be able to have access to it. Once again, all my friends and my partners, I cherish, I love, I respect you. My name is Pastor Gesh. Goodbye. God bless you.